Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite decks of all time, which is this Abzan Sacrifice build. We've done things like this in the past, and it's built around one of my favorite planeswalkers of all time, which is Vivien on the Hunt. If you don't know what this card does, essentially we're focused on the +2 loyalty here, where we +2, we sacrifice one of our own creatures, then grabbing a creature of one converted mana cost higher, putting it onto the battlefield, which is absurd because most of our creatures do things when they enter the battlefield or when they leave the battlefield. We've got things like AO and Workshop Warchief that when they die can get us extra 4/4 bodies, or go into our deck to find us even more spells to cast onto the battlefield for free. And then Vivien then grabs bigger things for us to use, which we have really big fun things like Sanctuary Warden and Titan of Industry, which both of these cards can close games out very fast. They're very powerful top ends for any deck of your choice. But lastly, I wanted to talk about the Undying Malice, particularly with the Phyrexian Fleshgorger. Undying Malice is an instant speed spell for 1 mana, where if a creature dies on our field, it comes right back to the battlefield with the 1/1 counter on it, which I'm sure you can see how busted that would be with Vivien's effects. But specifically with the Fleshgorger, this can target the Fleshgorger as a 3/3 body, right? And the opponent kills it, taking that 3 damage from the ward mechanic, and then it will just come right back onto the battlefield again as an 8/6 absolute behemoth body, which can happen by turn 4 really. So a really busted combination in this deck, and a very powerful deck with a lot of synergies. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy this one, but as always, there'll be a full deck breakdown at the end of today's video, so stick around for that. In the meantime, down below in the links, there's a full deck list, and if you guys enjoy content just like this, we post videos 5 days a week, so be sure to hit that like, subscribe. All that stuff helps out an absolute ton. I'd greatly appreciate it. With that being said though, guys, enjoy today's video. We'll see you at the end. Peace. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for clicking on today's video. I do appreciate that very, very much, and happy holidays to you at home. Again, appreciate you for clicking on today's video. It means the world to me. Today we're playing some Abzan, man. We're playing one of my favorite planeswalkers of all time. Vivien on the Hunt. This thing is so cool. I can't get away from playing this card for too long. Its ability to just sacrifice things and bring other big creatures into the battlefield is just too much fun to ignore for too long. So that's what we're going to be doing here today, but we're up against soldiers immediately, which does scare me a bit, I'm not going to lie. It wouldn't scare me as much had I gone first here, but I definitely did not, so things are going to get interesting. I guess the Tenacious Underdog forces them into a situation where even if they want to enlist, they're going to have to at least discard a card. So I think that's a much better body to block with than the Spirited Companion. Not to mention, I don't necessarily need to rush the card advantage here. I need to rush more of my life total protection and defense. I just think the Underdog provides us a lot more protection from the attack here, which looks like they're going for it. They're going to go ahead and enlist so that they can scribe, probably because they kept a 2-land hand, hoping that the Banala would get them out of that. They did keep both on top, which means they found the land drops. They placed them on top, I would imagine. Here comes the discard. We love to see this. And they lose a Sigarda. They're looking for green. Looking for green mana. Another Banala. Not ideal. Those are very hard to get rid of, so it's not ideal to see that come down. What is our next play here? Spirited Companion. Oh no, we can actually play out the Phyrexian Fleshgorger as a 3/3, which is cool, but is that the move? Because these enlist for 3 and it kills the Fleshgorger if we make a block. But I do believe it is going to be our move here. Yeah, our next couple of turns don't look great, I'm going to be honest. Not enough mana down early enough to start looking to do things like AO. So next turn we might have to just settle for a companion, which doesn't feel great. Definitely not going to blitz into Tenacious Underdog, that's for sure. But if I gain a little bit of life here and force the opponent to discard another card from hand, I definitely think I should take that opportunity. They give flying. Interesting. Are they not going to attack with the second Banala? No, they're not. Okay. Okay. I can live with that. I can live with that. Is it amazing? No, definitely not. But I can live with it. Blowing this up next turn with the Boseiju could be pretty compelling. But that does give up the opportunity at a play for a land here. Hopefully the companion finds us another land. That would be fantastic. Come on, please hit a land. Just make my life easy. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So with that being said, we passed the turn. Actually, do we pass the turn here? Yeah, because then they can't attack with the Banala unless they want to trade or discard. So I'm going to pass the turn. And then before the opponent's next turn, pre-combat, I'm going to make a stop here because I want to make sure that doesn't skip over to the combat step until I blow up the Seraph. Perfect. All right, we blow this up. They get a land out of the deal. Don't really care too much about that. And the Banalas, though, are now 3/3s. So, you know, again, if they want to maybe enlist something here, they're going to get pretty massive, but the toughness doesn't change. So they'd still have to discard a card to the Flesh Gorger here. I definitely think that was a hit to their pacing here because they were definitely going to be putting us on the ropes pretty fast there by giving another Banala flying. All right. There's an argument to be said too to play the War Chief next turn because the War Chief creates a 4/4 body when it dies. Not only that, it also gains us 3 life when it enters over the AO at least. What an interesting little game we got brewing here, man. Not fun. Not fun. Which card did they discard now? Let's see. They don't. Wow, they give the Banala up. Okay. I'd say that's a pretty good value for us. All right, now we got to decide though, like I said, into the AO or the War Chief. I'm going to go with the War Chief for the simple fact of the life gain and the extra body when it dies because it just makes for a little bit of a better trade here. AO obviously goes for a 4 mana CMC card in the deck, but you never know what that ends up being. It could just be another Spirited Companion, which would be a bummer. So I'll take this instead. Sigarda. Oh, that's a tough card to have to beat here, man. This thing gives all your other humans 1/1, and it has a Coven ability that says whenever it attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library, may reveal human. So whenever you have 3 or more creatures with different powers attacking. So we'll keep our eye on that. Definitely gonna do one of these. Indestructibility, I would imagine, is coming through. Yep, there's this card, but I get the 4/4 out of it. And I have a good block against the Sigarda here with the Sanctuary Warden. We've been playing defense the whole time, but we are slowly but surely starting to stabilize here. I would imagine if we can find a Vivian on the hunt, we start to really run away with this thing. So let's hope that's the next couple of cards. We have 4 in the deck, so I would imagine it's coming soon. Brutal Cathar is actually a really big wrench in our plan here. So if we can find a way to kill that, that'd be nice. I did put 4 Gix commands in here, right? Or 3? 3 I did, huh? Shoot, okay. There's a lot of really great things we can draw here. I'm trying to figure out what I'd like to see here. That's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I think though this turn I'm going to go with the AO and the Spirited Companion, so we have something good to sacrifice with the Vivian on the hunt. Not to mention it's a great blocker for the Sigarda. So let's throw this out there. If it's another Brutal Cathar though, we are in a lot of trouble. Because if I throw Vivian out there with no creatures to sacrifice, it doesn't necessarily do as good. Its secondary ability to actually mill 5 cards and put creatures in your hand is really, really good. But I'd rather have a way to protect it. All right, this is an interesting turn here. Are they going to attack into us? If they do, we definitely feel like they might have some trickery, but they've only got 1 mana to work with. So I'd imagine it's not anything I should worry about. The hesitation on the attack too kind of gives away the fact that they probably don't have much. But they're going to go Banala attack here and probably enlist. I was going to say that was an interesting choice if they would have attacked there. Oh, they're going to enlist with Brutal Cathar. That would be why they made that mistake. All right, so they scry 2. Let's see what they do with them. Do they go to the top? Both to the top. All right, I wonder what that could be. Wonder what that could be. Are they going indestructibility here? This only gives tokens indestructibility, right? Other creatures you control get 1/1. But when we counter sacrifice creature tokens you control gain hexproof and indestructibility. All right. Now that's a card. Doesn't necessarily help us that much here though on this turn. All right, so if we sacrifice the AO, we go get a what? A Sanctuary Warden? It's not bad actually. That's not bad. And then the AO is obviously going to get us something as well from the deck. So that's pretty high value there, I would say. So with that being said, let's go ahead and attack with the AO. I mean, it does give them the option to trade there with the Sigarda. Are they going to block with the Sigarda? That's the big question. I don't believe they would. I think they're going to go ahead and let this slide through. But if they block, I could end up regretting this attack. We'll see. Nice, we're good. Okay, cool. I get the extra 5 through. Vivian on the Hunt comes down. Vivian on the Hunt pluses on the AO. This is kind of an exciting game. I actually really enjoyed this game a lot. All right, and definitely Warden coming down. Create another body hopefully with the AO. Come on, give me something good. That'll work. And we'll take a loyalty counter off to create a 1/1. And what do we got in the yard here? We got one Tenacious Underdog, a Flesh Gorger. So we got some options here. We do need to get the Body Launderer a little bit higher as far as its power goes to get to where we want to go. But all right, that's going to have the ability now though to trample over and avoid death from our Sanctuary Warden, which could be a significant issue. But I do have this which can make them sacrifice it, right? It's the most power, right? It's probably with the highest power. Yeah, not the CMC. You never know with those cards. You got to reread them sometimes because sometimes it's the highest CMC or sometimes it's the highest highest power. Okay, that's fine. I think we take the 6 and keep the shield counters. If I'm being honest, there's really no reason to block this. We have a lot of life total to work with. So is this a warrior? It's an angel. So this is not going to, or I'm sorry, a soldier. Okay, yeah, that's not going to get them the value they want. That's a card. Okay. What do I do? That is a very good card. I still think the play here is this, if I'm being honest. Shoot. I guess getting back 2 creatures seems like a pretty fun idea. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and each opponent sacrifices a creature, return up to 2 cards. They lose the Sigarda, which, you know, depumps their whole squad pretty heavy, and we'll get back. Man, the Workshop War Chief is actually pretty broken, but we don't want 2 5-mana spells here. We want to make sure we have a way to go fetch something a little bit bigger, I guess. So we'll do one of these. I don't love it, but it's another body with lifelink, right? So we get that in. Do we attack with the Warden? I think we do. Body Launderer is going to connive here, which is pretty good.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
It's a good body. And we, oh, that's a card. What do we have on tap? And it's, of course, it's a green and white source that's on tap, so it's not going to play any factor into this turn. Oh, that's such a good card, though. Imagine we actually had the black source on tap there. Dang, we just got unlucky with the way that tap things. All right, let's go ahead and take another loyalty here off of Vivian.
Really want to do this?
Wow. Well, like I said, though, what a game. No matter which way this starts to swing and go, this has been a heck of a game. I think I can survive their next attack here. I would imagine there's nothing coming off the top here that can get through all of this. There's no blue, so I'm not afraid of that soldier that it gives everything flying and whatnot. That would be very bad. All right. That's an artifact that I can blow up with this if I wanted to. I'm just taking a look at the field here to see what sort of trickery I can do next turn, but Titan of Industry's got to be the move, right? I would imagine. We've, you know, we went with the Gix's command on that last one, but now Titan seems like it's going to be the play. I just think they're too far behind on value. I think Vivian is just an absolute value monster, especially because of the fact that our board is looking the way it looks. If we sacrifice Body Launderer, it gets us back some value from the graveyard, and it gets us a 5 mana creature, which could be another Workshop War Chief from the deck. That could be a certain lane that we take. Or I could actually just drop the AO, sack that, pump the whole squad with 1/1 counters, and attack all. Maybe that could end the game for us. I don't know. They're thinking about attacking with the Banala, which is interesting. I would think that they've won as many defenders back as possible. I think because they want the Scry to find something to help them here. It kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's pretty ballsy because you just took away 2 potential blocks next turn. I'll go ahead and do it like so. I could block with the Launderer there, which has Death Touch, and force them to make another discard or, just kill it. But I don't necessarily love that. All right, another Vivian's not bad, but it's not the greatest in the world. Again, though, if we sacrifice the AO, we have actually used both our Wardens here, so we wouldn't actually get any value off of that. So I may not actually go that route. I think it's definitely got to be the Titan. I think it's got to be. But then what do we sacrifice? Actually, probably the Flesh Gorger, if I'm being honest. I think the Flesh Gorger is what we sacrifice here. All right, so I guess we play it safe then and just go over the top like so. Yeah, that seems like the move. Go over the top, hit him for the 5. Take a loyalty.
You won't like it when I fight back.
All right, we sacrificed the Flesh Gorger, which gets us our Sarah Paragon, which is what we were looking for. And now we can get the graveyard into some action here. All right, so Titan of Industry is going to be the move. That's 100% the play here. And then we can decide on which card we want to bring back. Probably the Flesh Gorger. It's probably the best move here. We're going to gain 5 life just to be on the safe side. And I guess a shield counter seems like a pretty good idea. Just in case some trickery comes down. Flesh Gorger as well. I'm just basically trying to set up a battlefield presence of enough bodies to, block and then just win the game with the flyer over the top, which turns out works pretty well. Very nice. Good game, my friend. That was a really fun game. Now that is how you kick off a video, man. That was really fun. Before this next game starts, I want to show you guys something really cool. Check this out. Look at that. That is sick. That is so sick, man. I actually got that as a gift for Christmas from my mother-in-law. She's such a fantastic lady, man. She's been phenomenal. She's been one of the most supportive. Hold on. I get a 2-drop and it turns out to be what? I guess it could be Tenacious Underdog, or it could end up being Spirited Companion. I'm gonna go this route though, in case we get another black source for a Flesh Gorger. Sorry, trying to figure out what I wanted to do on the first land drop there. Anyways, she's been so supportive, man. She's always every year gotten me one gift that's been pertained around this streaming and video sort of setup, and she's just been really supportive on everything I do, which I absolutely love her for and appreciate. But she hooked it up with the neon sign. Not to mention she hooked it up with the voice changer last year. Is this smart? Is this smart? Slip out the back, Fading Hope. What else? 1 mana indestructibility plays. There's no green. I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. I don't know if this is necessarily the smartest thing. Obviously they wouldn't be doing this if they didn't have something. Boon of Safety. Wow. Not the card I expected, but hey, we break the shield counter, so I guess I'm still pretty happy with that block, to be honest. Boon of Safety, though. Who does that? Wow, we're gonna immediately lose the next game here because we Not gonna hit our land drops, it looks like. Not hitting the land drops. You know how it goes. Kept the 3-lander too, I believe. Yeah, not fun. Not fun. If we do lose this one, it's not a big deal. I mean, we're working against the clock now. The opponent got the Drake down on turn 2, which is absolutely money for them. And you know, they're not falling behind on any mana because they only really need 1 or 2 lands anyways for this deck to kind of work really well. And Drake is one of the best creatures they can drop because it draws them, you know, cards every time. So they're always going to have what they need, it feels like. I don't want to give them a year go, but this does seem like a little bit of a long pause for a simple whether or not you want this to resolve. So I'll give them a year go. I don't mean to be impatient about it, but seems like a pretty open and shut though. Do you want this to resolve or no? Probably, I would imagine they would. They can keep going over the top. Not much I can do about it. All right, we might just win by default because the opponent is probably not here anymore. They might have disconnected, but I hope not. If the opponent doesn't return here shortly, I will probably make an edit here. We'll see. All right, looks like the opponent's back. Sorry, my phone's doing something weird. All right, yeah, the opponent made it back. They must have DC'd for a moment there. I don't know what that was about, but what did they just play? Okay, they doubled down on that. Got it. You know what? I'm gonna play the Body Launderer here, and I'm gonna attack in there with the underdog. I'm gonna kind of just bait them into a block here, which I'm sure they're gonna want to do because they've got some fancy sort of 1-mana spell that's gonna boon of safety sort of effect. Yeah, like that. All right. Oh, you got me. No, I'm really just trying to connive, to be honest. They didn't get me. I just really wanted to make sure I hit a land drop here, which I did. Because I cannot fall behind on the land drops. That would be very bad. All right. Again, though, we're in a very bad spot where we are probably falling behind pretty desperately, to be honest. All right, let's get this in there. You know what I could do? Actually, I don't have a 4th swamp or a 3rd swamp. I was going to play this and then maybe Malice on the block here, but I think I'm going to have to go with the War Chief for this turn. And yeah, we'll just have to pass the turn here. We'll gain some life, which is helpful. It kind of slows the bleeding down a little bit. But yeah, the opponent's just going to pump this to the moon. But I guess that does take the pressure off of the Drake for the turn. And I guess I can get behind that because they're not going to be drawing cards when they target the Virtuoso. They're going to just have to, you know, throw at least some of those cards back into the bin. So I guess we'll take it. Gix's command is nice. It does help a little bit. It could end up getting something off their field, but at the same time, I would imagine Shore Up would come in, but I mean, it's worth a shot here. Or not Shore Up, I'm sorry, a Slip Out the Back. Slip Out the Back's probably the only thing that helps them here. Unless, of course, they pump this up. We're gonna try. There's really nothing more we can do. I think this is the only shot we have at this. Spell Pierce, interesting. Okay, well, that'll do it. I didn't expect to see counter spells. I thought more protection was going to be the way they go, but all right. No attacks. End our turn. We do have a Malice, which is cool, but it's not really great with the Launderer. But the Launderer does get back a it does get back a Workshop War Chief, which gains us life, so there's value there. All right, let them pump the Virtuoso to the moon and back. Again, it's nice that they're targeting that because it does connive, which does stink, right? But conniving is a lot better for us than allowing them to outright draw cards with the Drake. So looks like they might be able to just close the game out here with the Drake. Okay, they didn't actually have anything for the Virtuoso. Interesting, which is a bummer for us. We were actually hoping they did so we can get the Workshop War Chief in. But you know what? I can Vivian anyways. And hopefully Let's get the war chief that way. Get double the war chief actually, because yeah, hold on. Yeah, we've got a decision to make here, to be honest. Should we go here maybe and then look to Malice the AO? Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I think that's fine. All right, I don't love this attack, but they don't have anything with haste anyway, so it is what it is. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Yep, that'll do it. Good game, my friend. Good game. Yeah, we were kind of dead in the water to begin with. We missed those land drops early. It's a very good deck, this tempo deck. It's very hard to beat once they have things like the Drake down that early. Very, very hard to beat them, but good stuff. All right, well, tempo being a really solid deck there, man. Drake, Virtuoso, they've got a lot of dangerous creatures on too. If you can't answer them and you don't have enough removal, it's going to be a tough matchup for you every day of the week. So not surprising that we lost that one, but just a bit unfortunate, that's all. All right, we get a pretty good starting hand here. I'm going to go ahead and drop down the white source. Inspiring Overseer's coming down on 3, which I was worried about because we didn't have any white sources in hand. Now that we do, I'm feeling a lot better about this. Doesn't really matter, does it? All right, we have the Phyrexian Flesh Gorger as well, which I would love to get a get down and then hit him with some trickery off that. All right, I'm gonna go with, you know, that's actually, well, I feel like if I go with the Flesh Gorger here, they're going to remove it with some sort of kill spell, but it does avoid things like go for the throat because it's an artifact. So I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. It doesn't get hit by cut down. It doesn't get hit by go for the throat. They're gonna need something pretty particular to hit this, maybe some sort of burn mechanic. So I'm gonna play it out here and then make a block on the 2/2. Yep, they had cut down, which we avoided. Good, because we were gonna play the Overseer, but glad we didn't. Infernal Grasp, Lightning Strike. Okay, they had something there. It is what it is. I mean, it stinks, but you know what? It's fine. We'll get it back with the Gix's command later. Sarah Paragon can get it back too at its 3 value. Another Fable, huh? Okay, those are some problematic cards, I can't lie, but I mean, one Gix command kind of sweeps up the whole situation. So hopefully Sarah Paragon can get the job done here, just make some decent block threats that they're not going to attack into us, but you never know. They may want the treasures that badly. We'll see. Either way though, if somehow the Paragon dies to removal, which could be you know, for sure a thing, the Gix's command can get back the Paragon as well as the Flesh Gorger to the hand. Invoke Despair. What a crazy start for the opponent here. That is a boatload of value they just got off of those last couple of plays. And let's go ahead and get this down. Like I said, we're going to shoot for our Gix command here. Just cleanly kind of clean up the board here. And then we'll get back 2 cards, which is nice. Nice little rejuicing of the hand here. And then Vivian on the Hunt can come down next turn, which is really nice. But I think I'm going to go Warden first because of its ability to protect itself and can create extra chump blockers. And then that way too, when Vivian does come down, it'll have something to sacrifice right away if we want it to. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. That Invoke Despair was pretty brutal, I can't lie. All right, I think I finally picked up on what sort of deck they're running here. It looks like all the discarding into the graveyard here, especially with things like Big Score. I'm assuming the opponent here is going to be playing Bombardment. So we gotta try to answer that by getting down a Titan of Industry next turn. I would imagine the Bombardment's probably making its debut here in the next turn. I don't know why my OCD doesn't let me not organize my cards. I gotta organize my hand every time. All right, they go for the throat on the 1/1. Totally fine. Don't care. That is super low value. We let the 2 damage get through if they want to attack, because that's just a bait to try to get the shield counter off of my Warden. But nope, it's another Invoke Despair. Just an absolute banger of a card. Wow. Well, you hate to see it, but it's looking like a no-go for us here on the win. All right, well, what do we do? What do we do? I think it's the Vivian. I think it's the Vivian. Create the 4/4. It's a nice body to block the Kiki Jiki, but double invoke despair. Who knows? It could be a triple here. Hopefully not a triple whammy. That'd be great if we could avoid it, but I don't know. There's the bombardments. So it's all going to come down to luck here, whether or not they hit another invoke despair. So we'll see. If they don't hit it, is there a way that we can get a Titan in next turn to blow up that bombardment? I don't think so. I mean, that's fine. If that's their play, I'm totally down for that. No worries there. Oh, they want to activate the cut down so they can get a lucky draw maybe. It's big score. Okay, that is fine. I can live with that. It's not ideal, but it wasn't invoked despair, so I'll take it. That is interesting because I can get back a Flesh Gorger at its full size. Man. Not fun though, because we've got to figure out a way to stop this. Can I even do it? It's a question. Not if they hit, I mean, if they hit Invoke Despair, this is over, right? It's over. So if I go here, it's 1 mana left over. It's not enough to do anything I want to do. I think it has to be this, man. I really hate to say it, but I think it's got to be this. And then we go here. Then we go here. It comes back at its full body, and we get a Sarah Paragon. And we don't attack. Unfortunately, we can't. Not yet. And we just gotta really, really hope and pray that the opponent doesn't have another instant speed spell or another sorcery speed spell. Anything that activates the bombardment. Shieldred's fine. It's not fine, but it's way better than a spell. Wow, we actually made it. Wow, I really thought for sure there'd be another spell there. That's crazy. I did not expect that. Okay, well, we can gain a boatload of life here. We could just do this and this, make them sweep their whole board up and get in for an absolute 8 life gain. Oh wow, this is I can't believe we just did this. I cannot believe we just closed the door on the bombardment like that. That is crazy. They had such a good start, man. The double invoke despair just absolutely crushed me. I thought my spirits were shot. I thought we were toast there, man. I really didn't want to lose the back-to-back games there, and I'm glad we didn't because, man, that just, you hate to see the double invokes, man. It just never feels good. GG's though. All right, well, we got time for, it looks like, one more game here. Games have been a little bit longer, but you know, I kind of anticipated that with this deck. It takes a little while for the value to start rolling in. We're more of a late game deck, you know, obviously Vivian being our win con of sorts. It costs a lot to get down, so yeah, just a little bit longer games. It's part of what we signed up for with this one. All right, Spirited Companion on 2, love it. And oh, nice, we get a ramp mechanic right away. Love that too. Into the Vivian hopefully early, but that does require us to still hit some land drops off the top of the deck. We'll see how that goes. We'll definitely be taking 2, no big deal. Mono black though, interesting. More Invoke Despair stuff coming our way, which you know, can only be described as the most fun. All right, Stomper, come on down. And we're gonna need another white source, right? Yeah, definitely got the double black, double green, so we're good there. So let's get a plains attack with the 1/1 because we don't anticipate on blocking. Well, we might actually block the sleeper. We do have the ability to Gix's command and get it back later. So yeah, I'm gonna actually make a block here. think that's a high value block, honestly. Okay, not gonna block. It's fine. Wasn't gonna make the attack anyways. They would end up killing it altogether. All right, sleeper goes up. Really just investing a ton of mana into the sleeper, which is gonna hurt them even more once I pull the Gix's command card. All right. It's not exactly like super value train because we're only getting one creature back instead of two, but it still gets the trick done, you know what I mean? Still gets the job done. I would love another land though, one more time off the top. It's asking a lot from the deck because it has provided us enough lands so far, but I would like one more just to make it a very simple, clean play here into maybe Vivian or the Warden, depending of course on what the opponent does. Sacrificing the Stomper to get, like, let's say a Sarah Paragon could be interesting because then I could play the Stomper again from the graveyard the following turn, barring the Paragon stays alive, but that would be a nice little fun sequence that all relies on us finding one more land. We can do this. We can do it. We cannot do this. All right, it's fine. At least we can go with the Spirited Companion into the Overseer, which does hopefully, you know, with 2 extra draws, get us there. Nice. And that is a good blocker to the underdog, keeping us, you know, out of the pressure zone, off the pressure cooker, if you would, because this thing is going to keep dealing 3. We're already at 13. It's not something we want to keep taking damage from. Next turn, though, I mean, we have 7. We could actually drop the Flesh Gorger, but I think I'd rather drop the Vivian to get that going. The opponent, though, again, access to Invoke Despair is very, very good against us because the Vivian would die to that. So maybe that's not the smartest thing to play until we know we're going to get a crazy value hit off of it. I don't know. All right, well, the underdog is going to be getting through now. Is it the 5th land drop? Is it time for the despair? Am I going to be feeling that despair? There's the 5th land drop and 3 cards in hand. It's got to be one of them's got to be a despair, right? They never don't have it, you know? They want me to bite on this with a block because they don't want me to be able to sack this and this. They want to get more card draw. So we're going to deny them that. You're going to play your despair and we're going to sack it as follows. So do it. Do it. It's easy. You're playing mono black. They gave you despair. Just play it. Oh, not a despair. Okay. Hold the phone. You're saying there's a chance. Okay. I'm okay with this. Flying, there's no extra things to this. Okay, let's go ahead and attack through here. All right, they make that block. That is really odd, which makes me feel a lot better about this play actually, because I was worried that if I sack this, get the Sarah Paragon, that's the only thing that's going to be on the field for this next turn, which could get removed, and then they attack through to the Vivian. But now they can't attack through because there's nothing left. So very surprised they made that move. I give up. I give up, guys. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. All right, well, at least this can give us a nice little reset and some cards. Nice. That's a good top deck right there. I was going to go with the underdog, but we got a really good draw there. That's a good find. Okay, we're still in this. We're still in this. Underdog's fine. Have your underdog. They probably want to attack into us because we don't have a great block here because we don't want to lose the shield counter, right? So we're just going to go here like so. I can't believe they had the despair there. They didn't have it the turn before. I mean, they could have. They probably just played the flyer to, you know, throw me off the scent of some sort. I don't know. It seems like a Really heady move though. I don't know if that was the play that they were really trying to go for. I think it just, I don't know. Who knows? I should have anticipated it though. I got too comfortable. Too comfortable. Tonight is the night of despair. That's what's happening right now. Ooh, that's a card. Hold on. It's the first time I'm actually drawing this today. Is that our move? Is that the go-to here? Is that the go-to here? Or do we go with the Flesh Gorger? Don't know. What if I whiff? I have too good of a card here sitting in front of me to not go with it. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of silly. All right. Not to mention if they have a kill spell for it, I'm ready for it, and they're gonna take 7 for no reason. So I'm gonna be fine here, I think. Barring a despair, but I don't know. I think we could still probably get this game won with a despair on field. We'll see. Because that would eat up most of their mana. I could then use the Malice on the Warden, get it right back, get some more card draw. It would deal 4 damage to us, and they get 2 cards, but I definitely think we close out the game if that's the case. They need some sort of sweeper effect here. Extract the Truth. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a creature, enchantment, or planeswalker card from it. That's pretty good. It's not the worst, though. As long as I can keep my Malice. Seeing the Malice, they're probably going to concede, I would imagine. I don't think there's much that can beat that here. Not to mention the Storm the Festival. They're probably looking at the Storm the Festival more than the Malice, but... Here they go. They're looking for a kill spell here. Not only did they take the 7 from the Flesh Gorger, they take 2 from the Infernal Grasp, and I reset it with the Malice. An absolute beating here at the end. Yep, that'll do it. We got through 3 Invoked Despairs tonight, which feels great. Feels very good. But yeah, I mean, the first game was the best one for us, I think, because it really showcased what this deck was sort of trying to do and could do. So I'm really happy with that. But the other games were definitely some grind fests, man. But up to 95, love it. That will conclude today's gameplay portion of the video. We are going to break the deck down and talk about it a little bit further. But before I do that, I wanted to give you guys a huge shout out if you made it this far into the video, because it helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm. YouTube algorithm loves to see watch time and stuff like that. So I just want to give my thanks and appreciation to you guys for making it this far. And with that being said, let's take a look at today's build. So we've got a really fun deck here built around, obviously, Vivien on the Hunt. A very cool planeswalker that allows us to +2, and on the +2, you know, sacrifice our own creatures to get even more value by finding even more creatures to pull from the deck that are much bigger. So a very, very cool card here. One of my favorite planeswalkers to build around, because we can always make some really fun, absolutely absurd things with this card. And today we landed on this Abzan deck because Abzan works really well in this build because of things like the Phyrexian Flesh Gorger and Paragon in particular. These were cards I wanted to make sure I had in this deck at all times, because Paragon is a great way to get things back from the graveyard after they've been sacrificed by Vivien, which is really great. But the Flesh Gorger I wanted to try to get tricky with here, because the Flesh Gorger can come down as a 3/3, right? Which if we sacrifice it as its 3/3 body, we get a 4-drop, right? Not to mention that if we sacrifice something at 6 power, like 6 CMC, like a Sanctuary Warden, we can then go grab the Flesh Gorger as a 7 power, a 7 CMC creature. So it's a very, very good card in this deck that has a lot of flexibility for us. And I thought this was going to be kind of the icing on the cake to revisit this sort of a build. And not to mention, I wanted to try out Undying Malice, which obviously works extremely well with the Flesh Gorger, being able to bring it back in, acting almost like a blink mechanic. When it leaves the field, it comes back. It always remembers itself as its original value, which is the 7 value creature, which is really, really busted, especially because it could happen as early as turn 4 if the opponent removes it early enough. And then from there, I knew I had to just have a really good plethora of tools and creatures that do things when they either enter the battlefield or when they leave the battlefield, because I'm really focused heavily on Vivien on the Hunt as our win con, right? So we've got things like the Underdog. It has a blitz mechanic when it dies, so there's value to be had after this thing dies because it can be reused later for some card draw. Spirited Companion was a no-brainer. Obviously, drawing cards when it enters the battlefield can help a lot. Not to mention we can get it back later and exploit it with the Paragon. And then we've also got the Overseer for similar reasons. Drawing us cards is great. But this one actually flies and gains us a little bit of life too, so it can help us block those pesky Phoenix chicks and things like that. Stomper was a little bit of a splash in here later in the game because I wanted to get to Vivian a little bit quicker and I needed a bit of ramp, and I thought Stomper was a great way to achieve that because when it enters the battlefield you get extra land, and again, exploiting it with the Paragon later into the game is really nice. But not to mention we can get it off of sacking one of these and we get the enter the battlefield triggers. Body Launderer was really good. This is a card I really enjoy a lot as well in this sort of build because when things die it connives, which is great, synergizes really well, right? But when it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it can bring back things from the graveyard after it dies, and they can bring things back, you know, with the same sort of power or less power than the Body Launderer, which is really good with our build because we're sacrificing things constantly, including the Body Launderer in some spots. So there's some really cool combinations you can hit with that. And then in the 5-drop slot was the easiest slot for me to fill because it's the Workshop War Chief and AO. Both cards do some really great things, not only when they enter the battlefield with the War Chief, but also when they leave. AO and War Chief, both when they get sacrificed, get us a ton of value. Not to mention when Vivian does sacrifice them, we get even bigger spells. So there's like a double whammy sort of effect happening with the AO and the Workshop War Chief. I went with 3 Gix's Command because of all the aggro I've been seeing. Aggro is absolutely rampant right now in this meta, so Gix's Command is a must-have. And not to mention it works really well with our deck because we're going to be putting things in the graveyard a lot. So the ability to bring back 2 cards from your graveyard is going to be pretty important here with the Command. And then we've got the Warden and Titan combo up top as our win cons because they, I think, are the most powerful things you can be doing in these colors if you're going to go top end. And then I splashed in one little Storm the Festival, which I didn't get a chance to cast today, but I would have loved to get the chance to cast because everything from here down is playable off the Storm the Festival, except for Undying Malice. So there was really, and Gix Command, but there's really big hits if we can really pull this off with the Storm the Festival. So I thought it'd be a fun little one of in the deck, but there are bigger things here, obviously, that won't necessarily get targeted by the festival. So I went ahead and only splashed in the one. So anyways, that is the deck in a nutshell. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one as much as I did. Like I said, I just really enjoy all the synergies we can kind of combo off of with Vivian. So I always really enjoyed this sort of style of deck, and I've made decks just like this in the past. So nothing crazy new here except for really the Flesh Gorger and the Gix's Command, but I trying out the Malice as well. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have fun with this one too, man. But that's going to conclude today's video. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I do. I love that thing, man. I keep seeing it in the corner of my eye on the screen. It is so nice. But yeah, I'm gonna redo my room later at some point. But thanks for watching. I appreciate you making this far. I do got to go to bed. It's pretty late here. It's actually Christmas night when I'm recording this, so I got to go to bed. But I appreciate you watching, and I will be back again tomorrow for another video, of course. And we'll see you guys then. Until next time. Oh, I cannot believe I almost forgot this. Huge shout out to the Mardu Mob. I always got to give a huge personal shout out to the Mardu Mob, which is the membership program on this channel. These people help support the channel through the monthly memberships, and so I got to give them a special shout out, as always, to thank them for their patronage and helping keeping the channel rolling and, you know, keeping the lights on. I appreciate you guys, love you guys, and I will see you back here again for another one tomorrow. Till next time, peace out.
Hit him 3 times like a hat trick. The name is Swayze, no Patrick. If you play him, then it's tragic. Hit him with the mythic, yeah, that's magic. MTG, that's what you'll see if you like and subscribe. Where's the upload, man? Man, all of the time. Coming with the best decks, this is the meta. This ain't cheap.